This is Raina Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success. Hey, you guys, welcome to episode 7 of the Dreams and Drive No Parking Podcast. And today our topic is going to be how to not go broke chasing your dreams. And our guest is Tiffany, the Budgetnista Alice. Now, Tiffany is becoming one of America's favorite personal finance educators. She's also the best-selling author of The Live Richer Challenge and 1 Week Budget, and has been featured on shows such as Good Morning America, The Today Show, Forbes Business, Fox, and more. So I'm just so excited to have her talk about what we need to do as dream drivers if we want to make smart financial decisions for our ventures. She shares her own story of how she went from broke, living at her parents' house, to building a business that is helping over 80,000 women worldwide make smarter financial decisions. Hope you guys have a pen and paper out to take notes, but if you don't, you can check out our show notes at dreamsanddrive.com. And if you're listening at SoundCloud or on iTunes, you can make sure to rate, subscribe, and review so that you can get future episodes delivered right to your phone. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy and let me know what you think. Make sure to comment on today's episode when you're done. Talk to you soon, guys. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome to the No Parking Podcast. I'm so excited to have you on today's episode.
Hey, Raina. I'm happy to be here.
As you know, we're going to be talking all about how to not go broke chasing your dreams and how to build a community of ride or dies. And I know you're the perfect person to talk about these topics.
No, I can't wait because I see a lot of young new entrepreneurs making some critical financial mistakes, and hopefully I can help them avoid some of that.
All right, so let's get to it. So, Tiffany, the first thing I love to ask our guests, and it's kind of a reflective question, who were you as a child? I think sometimes when you kind of look back, it can give you a lot of introspection into who you are today. So tell me, who was Tiffany the child?
It was strange. I was I guess a study in opposites. I was like really wild and stuff at home. I had 4 sisters, so we were like little wild animals. Like fussing and fighting, but playing and. But then like out in public, I was actually really shy. So I didn't, I was not the type of kid to look you in your eye. I always had my head down. And it's kind of similar now in some ways that like when I speak on stage, I'm like wild, like, but fun and engaging. But if you were to get me like one-on-one and, and I didn't know you, I would still be really like on the shy side. I had big dreams even when I was a kid. I remember I had to be like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7. And I was riding my bike. And for some reason I stopped and I thought to myself, one day I want everybody in the whole entire world to know my name. I don't remember why I was thinking that. I think maybe I had heard a Michael Jackson song, and at the time I thought the whole world knew his name. And so as a kid I said, I want that too. And I didn't know for what purpose or whatever. I just decided that. And when I was a kid too, old ladies used to always tell me I was going to be a rich woman one day. And I couldn't understand why, but I would get that a lot. And so, yeah, that was me as a kid, kind of wild, a little bit shy, and always dreaming.
It's so amazing, though, to hear you talk about how much of that has actually come true. You said when you were a kid, you had that moment where you said, people will know my name. And just imagine that has come true. 60,000 or more women know, the Budgetnista's name. And you have been such a pivotal role model in a lot of women's lives. So it's funny how dreams that you put into place at a young age just can actually evolve and
come true.
Yep. So let's talk about you growing the Budgetnista. I know that you have told your story a million times, so I don't want to overwhelm you with recounting every detail, but maybe you can give us a short summary of what launched you into launching the Budgetnista and some of the challenges you faced when you first started out.
Well, the Budgetnista kind of happened accidentally. I grew up in a household where money was talked about all the time. My father was a CFO and an accountant. And so he and my mom together, they had 5 girls. And it was just part of regular family chat around the table, like homework, family finances, chores, that kind of thing. And so I took that with me and I would share with my friends what I'd learned at home, especially in college, because that's when people were actually starting to make financial choices. So I would share, like, well, no, my dad said you should do it like this, you know? And I just became the go-to girl. Everybody has a go-to girl for different things. You
Mm-hmm.
have a go-to girl for, is this outfit cute? The go-to girl for, can you help me with my hair? I was the go-to girl if you had like a money question. And I didn't think it was ever going to move past that. I didn't even think about it. It was just part of my life, like knowing about personal finance. And it really wasn't until I had gotten my first job out of college. I was teaching preschool. And because I had my degree in business, had some internships, hated them, and I was like, no,
Don't
I'm
we
not going to
all
do
sometimes?
this. Yeah. And I just remember being so afraid, like, oh God, like a lot of my life has been driven by like fear of not wanting to have a sucky life, you know? So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, these internships suck. Like, what am I going to do? And when I was in college, I used to work at a daycare center on campus to like for work study, so I can like put money toward my student loans. And I was like, oh, I really liked working with kids, and I think I want to teach like third or fourth grade, but I didn't have my teaching degree. I'd gone to school for business, so instead, I said, you know what? Let me go teach preschool, go back to school and get my teaching certificate, which I did, and then I'll go on to older grades. But I ended up staying teaching preschool for 10 years. And while I was there, I learned how to teach. So this is like lesson number one,
Mm-hmm.
is that there are no coincidences in your life and all experiences are valuable. Everyone thought I was crazy for teaching preschool. Like, oh, you have your degree in business. I went on to get my master's in education. Then they really thought I was crazy. Like, what are you doing here? You're wasting your life, you know? But what I didn't realize and what they didn't realize is that it was so pivotal. Like one of the reasons why the Budgetnista does so well, my brand, is because I'm a really good teacher. And where did I learn that from? I learned it in the hardest grade to teach, preschool. There is no harder person to teach than a 3 or 4 year old. They
What
have
makes
no
it
point
so
of
hard?
because they have no point of reference. Like if I'm telling a college student, put your name on the line here, a 3 year old's like, what's a name? What line? What's a line? If I can tell a 3 year like, okay, this is red like an apple. What's an apple? You're like, Jesus, I gotta teach you. So there's like no point. You have to literally build from the very beginning. There are literally 3 year olds who don't even know their names because they've been called JoJo their whole life. They're like, no, your name's Joseph. Who's Joseph? you know so, and plus two, you have to be engaging, you have to educate but be fun. You have to literally be so many things at one time. You have to be nurturing, you have to be able to read their emotions because they're not able to fully articulate how they're feeling, so you have to be able to kind of test and read the crowd and adjust your teaching style accordingly. So all of these skills that you don't necessarily need for older grades, I learned 10 years straight of every day learning how to be a fun, engaging, educational teacher. And so when my school closed, it closed during the height of the recession. And in that 10 years, I actually started teaching their parents how to manage their money because their parents would ask me to borrow money sometimes. And I thought, well, I can teach them how to budget so they could stop asking me to borrow money. So when the kids would go to sleep during nap time, I would have parent university and they would come in and I would teach them how to budget and save and stuff. So all of that, I'm thinking it's all these random things. My school closes because they lost their funding. And then